talk Oklahoma. We got losses to Texas and Ole Miss, so 10-2. They're currently number 8 in the college football playoffs with the rankings. But when you look at this team, put the wins and the losses and the resume aside, do they belong in the college football playoff? Danny Kanell.
So this is really tough, right? Because I think they've earned a spot, but they're way too one-dimensional for me. Like, their defense is awesome. Their defense is national championship worthy. But their offense is mid-level MAC bad. And what's so evident to me is they don't trust John Mateer to throw the football, because when he does, he had 3 picks their last game of the season, almost lost to LSU, so they kind of shut him down. And you can't rely on a big play to Isaiah Satania every game to bail you out. So I just think they're way too one-dimensional to be able to go out there and compete in this college football playoff.
Yeah, I'm at the piggyback on what you said, Danny, because you talk about the 10-2 loss SEC teams. We knew we was going to get to this point later on in the season. It's going to be a handful of 10-2 SEC teams who's trying to make their argument to be in the college football playoffs, even if they're not competing for the SEC championship game. I'm taking a 10-2 Vandy over a 10-2 Oklahoma, and we all know how much I love Diego Pavia, but we're talking about the overall work of the team and how teams have looked at the most critical times of the year. Vandy has been more consistent than Oklahoma. Oklahoma does have an impressive win over Alabama. Vandy lost to Alabama but played them tough. Also lost to Texas, the same team that they lost to Oklahoma. But a team that's going to give you a run for your money on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. When we talk about trying to find the best 12 teams in college football, I'm taking Vandy over a 10-2 Oklahoma.
Also, real quick, on their defense, which is really, really good statistically, who have they really stopped, though? Like, as far as good quarterbacks. Like, they did beat Alabama, and Ty Simpson was awesome. But have anybody checked those stats? Alabama doubled them up in production. Like, they gave up a lot of points in that game. Ole Miss went into Norman and put up a lot of points on that offense. Texas, another pretty good offense, went in there and put up double-digit 20-something points against them. I do think that defense, if they're that one-dimensional, I don't know if that defense is so elite, like the Baltimore Ravens when they had Ray Lewis and company and they won a Super Bowl. I just don't know if they're as elite as we think they are when they play against better offenses.
I think I want to follow up with that LSU matchup that you were talking about. I mean, that was just some bad football by them. What did you see in that game, Danny?
The same thing you saw? I mean, it was awful. There were some really bad throws from John Mateer, and I thought that was one of those ones. There was so much tension in Norman. I think even the fans were like, oh my goodness, are we really going to blow this opportunity at the college football playoff and lose at home? Now, they didn't. They got the stops that they needed again. But who was the quarterback they were stopping? Michael Van Buren, who was a backup most of the year, and he's not exactly somebody that strikes a lot of fear in you. It was an ugly game, and I get Brent Venables' case. Like, hey, it doesn't matter how we look, we win football games. But I think there's a lot of other football teams that are playing better football right now that unfortunately are going to be on the outside looking in.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Danny. When you look at the way that Oklahoma finally had a chance to pull away from LSU, I wouldn't say pull away, but to win that game, it was off of blown coverage. LSU played great defense all game, and that one play cost them with Isaiah Satania running right down the middle of the field and being hit for a 70-yard touchdown. Without that play from Oklahoma, we're not even having this conversation right now. We're talking about other teams like a Miami that we've been talking about all day that's getting in that bottom half of that 12-team playoff.
Okay, so you're giving us a couple teams that you would like to see in the college football playoff, potentially over Oklahoma. Danny, what about you?
Yeah, I think Vanderbilt's one.
Yep.
Ironically, the other team is Texas. Now, Steve Sarkisian has made such a big point about if we didn't play Ohio State, if you took away Oklahoma's win against Michigan, where they played a Big Ten opponent and beat them, if they were both 2-loss teams and you were comparing those resumes and you had to honor the head-to-head, Texas dominated them. It wasn't even close. And I know that a lot was made of John Mateer coming back after 17 days, and I think there's some people that think John Mateer has been impacted by that surgery. If you go back and watch the tape against Michigan, he was kind of the same, a little bit loose with the football quarterback who was trying to make plays. Michigan just dropped a couple interceptions. He's been a little bit erratic all season long, so I don't even buy the fact that this is impacted by the surgery. I just think John Mateer has been a little bit of a disappointment as far as taking care of the football for this Oklahoma offense.
What's your scouting report on Mateer?
No, I think he's a great player. I think he's definitely a playmaker. He's a true +1 in the run game. But when you talk about the top teams in this college football playoffs, they're more complete than Oklahoma because they can get it done on both sides of the ball. And just look into your conference with A&M and Alabama and Georgia, they are defenses set up to make sure you're not one-dimensional on the offensive side of the ball, or they're going to make it very complicated for you. And you look at Oklahoma 2 losses, that's what they did, forcing John Mateer to throw the ball, turned the ball over too many times, and ultimately coming up with a loss. So I agree with Danny to this point. It's a few other 10-2 teams I'll take over Oklahoma in this playoffs.
So when's the last time a national, like if you were talking about this, like I think in order to get to the playoffs, you should be a national championship contender. When's the last time you saw a national championship team with a quarterback that was completing 62% of his passes with 12 touchdowns and 10 interceptions?
That's not usually the recipe to win games,
No.
period. And you talk about a national championship level, not really, because you look at, like I said before, those top defenses, those A&Ms, Alabamas, you look at Georgia, you look at Ohio State, you look at Indiana, they do a really good job in a turnover margin. They're a plus in the turnover margin, so that's not just winning football at the highest level.
And like I could see if they had a good game manager. We use that term all the time. Like if it was a game, I think J.J. McCarthy he didn't put up huge numbers, but he was a good game manager. And their defense was really good. That's where I think this Oklahoma has a big issue is John Mateer has not been a good game manager. If he was, and let's just say he was 15 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, I'd feel a lot better about him. I just don't think you can trust him.
All right, this might be a bigger subject for another day, but then how does this situation all get fixed when you look at the college football playoff and to avoid a team like Oklahoma potentially getting in when there's other teams that you say might deserve it more, Cardale?
I think it's one or two ways. One, you get rid of non-conference games, and then you have an opportunity to extend the college football playoffs, go a little bit deeper than 12 teams, maybe that 16, maybe that sweet spot, and you also have opportunity to allow more good on good to happen. So without that, I think we're still going to have these type of conversations where it's almost like head-to-heads don't even matter versus how you plan at the right time of the year.
I don't think there ever is a fix. And I do wonder if Oklahoma wasn't the brand of Oklahoma, if maybe the committee would look at them differently and possibly knock them for not having a great offense. But the reality is this is the system we live in. It's imperfect, and you do benefit off of playing in the SEC, of having a rich brand in college football, and they're benefiting from it.
Life isn't perfect, Danny. Life isn't perfect. All right, well, we'll see how it all plays out on Sunday when the college football playoffs gets announced.